That button. Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to today's training. Today, my friends, guys, we are going to talk about listening to your voice, and I'm going to use it from an example of a client that I was speaking with this morning who has tuned into their voice. So in healing codependency, there's 3 specific things we have to target in order to really break free of it and stay out of the need to go back to codependency and actually generate relationships, jobs, careers, businesses, and purpose in our life that allows us to remain free of the need to be codependent. And those 3 things are your value, your voice, and your vision. Today we're going to talk about that second component, which is about voice. So this client let me know that they have started to hear their voice. And what does that actually mean? So, lots of so's today. When we are in contact with ourselves, when we're dealing with hearing ourselves, knowing our worth, knowing what we want, what we don't want, knowing what our boundaries are, we are attempting to listen to ourselves. And codependency, we have been taught to ignore ourselves. What is the one thing we tend to ignore the most first when we're codependent? If you got a guess for that, just comment that down below. Because what we don't listen to is our voice, our emotions, our points of view, how we feel about something, our sense about something, our instinct, our intuition, our gut. We tend to deny those emotions, those feelings, that awareness in ourselves so that we can conform and be what we think other people want us to be. And that's where the pleasing comes in. And this allows us to try to get the core needs we have for love, attention, affection, protection, safety, play, nurture, that kind of thing, acceptance, belonging. That's where we try to get those needs fundamentally met. And in codependency, we're dealing with someone who's going to throw us away. We're dealing with the threat of what's called the discard trauma. And in codependent and narcissistic dynamics, we're dealing with what's called consumer supply relationships, where we earn love by doing a particular thing. Typically, the thing that we're doing is making them feel good, and then they love us for it. We're regulating their feelings, we're fixing their problems, we're elevating their sense of worth, we're managing their identity and their self-esteem, things like that. But in healthy relationships, we're actually building on connection between 2 autonomous people who love and respect and honor and enjoy the nature of the other person, right? And to be able to do that, we've got to be able to hear ourselves. And so listening to our voice starts first with our awareness. What am I aware of? What am I sensing about this situation or about this person? What am I sensing about myself? What am I sensing about what's coming for me? Or if I'm focused on a particular task or a goal or an objective, what am I sensing there? What is my awareness awakening me to? And then there's feelings, there's emotional responses to people, places, and things in our life. And also within us, our thoughts, our other feelings, things like that. These are all voices. Then we have a different voice. When this is the voice of programming that shows up and tells us what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing, and why we're bad and why we're not worthy and why they're doing this and what they're thinking and what that person thinks is going on and what we should do over here. Notice that there's a lot of shoulding going on there. Anytime you got a programmed voice, it's going to show up as should. Then you have the third voice that comes into your world, and that is other people and their influence on you. As codependents, we're conditioned to fawn to other people, and that means we absorb their feedback, their input as law, as a command, and then we act it out. This fawning is all about becoming subservient to somebody else which we feel threatened by or we believe is superior to us in some way, whether it's our awareness or their capacity, they're an expert, things like that. Or we're scared of them, or we really want their approval. We really have an attachment to them liking us and meeting that need for acceptance. So these are your 3 voices that show up. You have your awareness, which is your intuition, your sense of things, your own personal feelings, points of view on things. The second voice is your programming. This comes from your past. It comes from trauma. It comes from indoctrination, movies, books, television, music, things you tell yourself, things you believe, religion, secularism, all of it. That can all create programming. And the third thing is people who are actively involved in your life giving you input, non-verbally and verbally, that you interpret about you or your situation or about others. When we don't know how to tell the difference between those voices, we don't know how to know what we want. And so part of the value, voice, and vision system and the Brilliance Mastermind is tapping into our voice and being able to discern between all three of them. So one of the big key indicators about our voice is, one, it's consistent. It typically is subtle, and it's typically going to point us in a direction that's often light and expansive, yet a little intimidating. And that's what one of my clients discovered and shared with me today, because they're facing a big decision about a relationship in their life that they know is going to lead them down an interesting direction, path for them, and it's going to expand them. And what they communicated is they felt like they had all these positive things going on, but within them, they were not alive. They were not fulfilled. They were not excited to be there. The needs they had in the relationship were not fundamentally being nurtured in a way that worked for them. That's their voice talking. So if you're in a relationship where you feel empty and you feel like you're struggling with, and it's a good relationship, like it's got its positives, but it's not really fulfilling, that lack of fulfillment is a voice within you talking. It's trying to get your attention, saying, this isn't working for our long-term happiness. Okay? It's the same thing in a job. It's the same thing in a business, or in a career, or in a hobby, or in a friendship, or in your daily task, or even with your relationship with yourself and what you do with you. Because a lot of times we have a pretty mediocre relationship with us. And if we're feeling empty and we're feeling lost, we're not fulfilled, we aren't congruent with our joy. We're not congruent with what really matters to us. And that emptiness, that lack of fulfillment is a voice, your voice, talking to you, urging you to pay attention, start making changes. Now, when we get honest with this voice, we start receiving it rather than trying to control it or fix it or ignore it or change ourselves so we can continue on the path we're on. Instead, when we accept and say, okay, this is happening, this is real, then we start to see a vision come out of it, which is a different path, a different possibility, a different adventure, right? That's your voice saying, go there, try that, think about that, consider that. Guys, when we know how to hear our voice, we can attain the direction we seek in our lives. And that can be in purpose, that can be in love, that can be in wealth, that can be in joy and play, what you do with your home, what you do with your daily schedule, how you want to interact with your children, what kind of friendships you want to build, what adventures or skills you'd like to take on. That's all within you because you're innately brilliant. But first, we have to be able to hear our voice. And our voice isn't going to necessarily speak things that we're comfortable with acknowledging. It's not going to be really fun to tune into it sometimes. But long term, it will fulfill us. Long term, it will expand us. But it is going to challenge us to take big risks to step out and really connect with ourselves. So that's the magic of this experience, is that when we get out of codependency by mastering and anchoring ourselves in our value, our voice starts to become really clear and really loud and really available, and that connects us to our vision, which gives us direction, purpose, and goals, targets to follow in our lives. So boom, we start resulting, we start having a life that results in fulfillment and in joy and expansion that really resonates specifically for who we are. So, guys, if you're struggling with listening to your voice, then you need to stop and tune into what you are aware of. What are you sensing in your life that's not clicking for you? And then you got to start accepting that, acknowledging it, and going, okay, I have a sense that this is empty, or I'm really unfulfilled here, or like, I really, really want this. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get it, but I need to at least acknowledge that I have this coming, that this is what I want, this is what I desire. That's how you start listening to your voice, because your voice is going to feel expansive and joyful. It's going to challenge you, and it's not going to tear you down. It's not going to be shame. It's not going to be guilt. It's not going to be fear or doubt. It's going to be, hey, this is what we're aware of. So if you want more mastery in understanding how to hear your voice and how to put what your voice says into action so you can get the result, then apply for your spot in the Brilliance Mastermind. This is a 12-month mastermind where I take you through the practice of mastering how to receive what you want, how to choose what you want specifically, so you're choosing outcomes that really, really bring you joy and happiness in your life. Receive that outcome and then refine it until it comes in a way that really works for you. That's what we do over a 12-month process using 9 different experiments, and then a 9-week in-depth training that we start on December 1st to take you from point A, where you are now, to point B, where you want to be. So you can click on the link above if you're on Facebook, on the link below if you're on YouTube, to apply for the Brilliance Mastermind. It's only open once a year, so this is your opportunity to get in for 2019. It won't be open to the public until November of 2020, so a year from now. So I appreciate you guys, and remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. Get out there and listen to your voice and start choosing from that so that you can have more of what really matters to you in your life. Let me know what you got out of this video today, guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow for our next training. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.